And we are back once again, ladies and gentlemen, only on its last call. Last call with the alcohol, only on the Blue Wire Hustle YouTube channel. And now join me on the line, this man here. Many say he is Team USA's best bet for Olympic gold in the 2020 or 2021 now Olympics. And well, a lot of people say his future is bright no matter what happens here. I give you the pride and joy all the way right now in Colorado for Team USA. I give you is Richard Torrez. Richard, so first off, it hasn't hit you yet that you're achieving part of one of your goals, which is you're going to the Olympics, unless God forbid COVID or world ends. How excited are you about that? How excited are you about fighting in the Olympics?
I'm ecstatic, but everyone always says, this must be a dream come true. You must be like running around. And yeah, I am ecstatic, but this has been a dream of mine ever since I was 8. I've been preparing for this moment. And, a couple of years ago, it turned from a dream into a reality that I have the ability to do this. And it's been part of the plan, And so while I am ecstatic that I'm going and so grateful that my dream's coming true, I wasn't really running around the room or anything like that, jumping up and down, because it's been part of the plan, And so once I knew I was going, I sat down and I started training again. I got right back up to training.
I asked partly, and I know, look, you've worked your ass off and you've earned it, but this hasn't been a normal Olympics. I mean, usually you'd be fighting last year. That got postponed due to COVID. There'd be huge crowds. That's not going to happen because Tokyo is only allowing national Tokyo residents, not other people. I mean, how much of this has been sort of, all right, stop, go, because the world went crazy. And unfortunately, a lot of people suffered, including athletes like yourself.
Yeah, I mean, the COVID Olympics are going to be a little bit different. But what I recently found out is that comparison is the killer of joy. So I could see all the other Olympics, I could see how that happened, and I could maybe feel bad about it a little bit. But I'm going to the Olympics, man. I'm still going to the Olympics, and that's what the dream come true. And I sat down one time, and I was like, man, a couple of these things aren't happening anymore. Like the media days and all this stuff, it's not the same. I'm not in person with people. And then I thought back to when I was 8 years old, and what would my 8-year-old self be thinking right now? He'd be jumping up and down. He'd be the one that's going crazy, man. It doesn't matter about any of that other stuff because I'm going to the Olympics, and that's kind of my mindset now. I'm gonna go into it knowing that's gonna be a little bit different, but I'm gonna take everything with a smile because I'm at the Olympics.
Let's talk about the division. Semi-breaking news: Justin Huni is out, and I know that you and your team are probably going, "Okay, that's a nice little break," because he was an odds-on favorite. He was a professional heavyweight who was going back to the Olympics. How much do you feel that helps you? There's only now 2 other returning heavyweights: Kamishek Kunkaibayev of Kazakhstan and Bakohir Yalov of Uzbekistan. The rest of this division, it's a lot of young guys. It's a lot of guys like yourself. I mean, how much do you feel this helps having one less professional who is now out of the Olympics?
I do feel like that is a benefit just because, Justice Huni was a really tough competitor. I took a bronze and I actually lost to Justice Huni in the youth world championships. But with that being said, I was looking to get it back. I really believe that the Olympics is where you fight the best of the best. And that's where I want to fight everybody too. I don't want to win because someone's out. I want to win because I'm the best of the best. And so while I do feel like it is a benefit to me, it's not something I was wanting. I wanted him there. I wanted to be able to fight him. I want to be able to fight the best of the best. And while it may help out, it's hopefully I meet him down the road again.
But personally, is there a part of you that's happy about this? Because this is supposed to be it's supposed to be amateurs. It's supposed to be, all amateur fighters. And yet, when you have pros entering, guys who've already had their Olympic experience, now they're coming back because they want to either pad their record, or they want to, help their, negotiations with their second contract. I mean, how much do you look at guys like, Yalov or Huni or, Kunkaibayev and go, you're taking from guys who, need that moment. You're taking from guys who, legitimately are amateurs, and that kind of sucks.
I think so in a way. I think that it makes it a little more difficult, but in the same sense, I think that amateur boxing, elite amateur boxing, is up there like with the pros. Honestly, in some senses, amateur fights, you fight 5 times. You fight 5 times in 5 days. You weigh in every day the same day. You don't know who you're gonna fight. So there's an element in amateur boxing that I think is almost harder than professional boxing. With that being said, when the top the top pros and everything come back to the amateur fights, it does make it a little more difficult. But that kind of I just revert to my original statement when I say I want to fight the best of the best. And I think the Olympics is an amazing place to do that with all eyes on you. And so while it does throw a little wrench in the plan, I'm fine with fighting them. If I'm being 100% honest with you, I'm fine with the pros coming back. I'm fine with any of that happening because in my mind, I'm the best. And so I'm going to go out there and I'm going to prove that. And I want everyone else to think that too. And so regardless if it's amateur or pro, I want to show what I got.
I remember watching you 2019 Pan Am Games, and one of the things I was impressed with was, you're already, against, Luis Mañaco, who it's in Peru. You're fighting the hometown guy, and even with the crowd, really behind him, you're using your jab, you're using your power shots. You're not letting him turn it into a wild brawl here. And even against Pero, it's a fight. A lot of people thought, well, that could have gone your way. How much of that tournament helped you grow up in terms of, all right, I can handle anything. I can handle crowds. I can handle, the Cuban guys, and give you that confidence of, hey, I can medal in these Olympics. I'm ready for it.
One of the best things my Olympic coach Billy Walsh, has told me is it doesn't matter about anything else. The only thing that matters is your performance. And if I go out there and perform, there's no one that can beat me. And I that kind of resonates with me. That saying, and Eric Thomas saying that the only way someone could beat you is if they're solely better than you. Don't let you beat yourself. And that actually is very like calming to me, knowing that the only reason someone should be able to beat me is if they're solely better than me, because I don't think there's anybody out there that's solely better than me. So I'm gonna go out there. I know I have my conditioning. I know I have all this stuff. I know that I could look back on Pedro, and I could look back on Peru, and I could see that I did do my thing. And it does help me out thinking that I am meant to be here. And it's a good feeling. It's a good feeling knowing that people think I'm gonna medal. I got nothing to lose and everything to gain, and I'm just happy that people have my back.
How does it work with you, Billy, and your father? Because your father is your trainer. He, that's a father-son bond. Who, growing up, he was your trainer. Through all the way from start to now, and now Billy Walsh takes over. So how does it work? Where you literally have two coaches. You have your own personal coach, which is your father, and you got now an Olympic coach in Billy Walsh. I mean, how do you guys work it so that you don't have two, different, voices in each ear?
Yeah, well, like Coach Billy Walsh and my dad have a really good relationship. Coach Billy will call my dad on a regular basis. My dad will call Coach Billy, and I mean, it works out. It's funny because I see them; they almost will say the exact same phrase to me, and so I know that they have the same mindset. I know that they have the same plan sometimes, and that's really helpful to me. And if there's anything that my dad doesn't like that Coach Billy's doing, or Coach Billy's doing that my dad doesn't like they'll talk about it and they'll come to a conclusion. And at the end of the day, it's all about winning. It's all about getting that gold medal, having me on that top podium. And so they have that likeness and they have that same mindset. And I think that helps out a lot, honestly. It's a really good relationship, and I'm very thankful that Coach Billy didn't just try to shut my dad out, because if that would happen, it would have been a totally different story. But it's not like that. Coach Billy's really helpful, and it's been awesome.
If you're just tuning in, once again, ladies and gentlemen, we got Richard Torrez here on the show. We're talking all things, of course, Olympics. We're talking pros, amateurs. We're talking coaches here. It's been a tough year for you, I know, because you had everything with COVID going on. That shut down a lot of places in California. You're a California native, so for you, how tough was it sometimes not be able to do a lot of things you do? Having to be in a in society where you're wearing a mask. having sometimes even be in gyms, probably just your local area where you're going to be, watch out because cops are being sent to your place because, hey, we got to shut things down. Hey, quarantine, all that. I mean, how much has this year been for you about getting mentally strong simply because the whole world, basically went hell into a handbag?
Yeah, the biggest benefit I've had, honestly, through the COVID pandemic is I'm from a small farm town. And so the gyms were shut down, but then it kind of just reverted to my dad when he was training. He trained that farm life. He would, cut down trees, he would dig holes, he would flip tires, all that stuff. And so that's what we went out and did. I went out, my dad would give me a sledgehammer, I'd break concrete on the side of the canals, I'd chop down trees. He'd literally make me fill up a hole. He'd make me dig a hole and fill it up again like Cool Hand Luke. And so I got that country training in, and I think that helped a lot, not just physically, but also mentally, being out there, seeing nothing but farmland, kind of to my own thoughts, that really like helped me focus in and think about what I wanted. I knew it let me know I was capable of doing it, and it gave me a drive to know that one day I'm gonna get that gold.
So what? Now I gotta ask, why didn't you turn pro? Troy Isley turned pro. Duke Reagan turned pro. Keyshawn Davis turned pro. And I know, but I'm guessing Eddie Hearn, Al Heyman, Bob Arum, they all probably made calls going, hey, we're interested in having your services. Hey, we're interested in promoting you. We'll get you some fights, get you some money here. Was there ever a part of you that went, I'll just turn pro and then I'll go back to the Olympics? Or has this always been sort of the plan? If I'm going to stay amateur and then after the Olympics, I'll see what happens.
Yeah, I mean, like I do have a couple calls coming in my way, but I mean it's been my plan since day one. I want to go to the Olympics. I want to medal. I want to get that gold medal, and then I'll turn pro afterwards. I feel like turning pro before the Olympics, it might kind of shake things up a little bit. And honestly, one of the concerns I had with turning pro too is what happened with Justice Honey. He had a fight right before the Olympics, and something happened. And I wish the best for him. That's also one of the reasons I stayed amateur. I wanted to really focus in. The Olympics has been my dream. Going pro after Olympics is just benefits. It's just something that I've been working so hard for doing, might as well get paid for. But the Olympics is my goal, it's my dream, and it's been my dream since day one. I ran around saying I wanted to be Olympic champion one day. I never said I wanted to be WBC champion. And so the Olympics, that's my dream.
How tough is it right now keeping, just everything away, in terms of semi-normal? Because let's face it, you're becoming a bigger name. You are a super heavyweight. You're all, you're not even 20, you're not even 25 years old, and there's already, you said Al Heyman, I'm guessing, Bob Arum, Eddie Hearn, they're all calling you going, hey, we want to do business. Hey, we want to do this. You're going to the Olympics. There's people following you here. You win, you become, this big mega star. How tough is it having people around you that you can trust who still look at you as Richard and not Richard Torrez, ATM / boxer / hey, this is a guy that we can make money off?
I have a really small circle. I have my family. My family's my team. My dad, no matter what happens, he's always going to have something. He's always going to be able to humble me. My mom, she's one of my biggest fans, my sister. And those are the people's who opinions and value I really just look towards. My friends, a couple of them I had since I was little. And, I go by, when I was a kid, I would go by Kiki. And so I used to tell people, if you had known me when I had my backpack unzipped and I had green shoelaces and I had one pair of pants, I was like, then you can call me Kiki. So I guess the guys that are able to call me Kiki, those are my friends I like to talk to too. And the little rush is coming in waves, honestly. Like when I won Golden Gloves, there was a little wave. When I won nationals and I stopped everybody at nationals, a little wave. When first time I got a world medal, it was another wave. So it's starting to I'm starting to notice like these trends that are happening with people, and it just helps me revert back to my dad. You know, he's the one guy I go to for any opinion, any advice, and if people are talking to me about hype and what I should do, the first guy I go to is my dad. And so that's kind of my my concrete right there. That's my foundation. Is that's where I know where I'm really at.
I've been blessed to have a lot of professional or world champions, whether it's wrestling, even boxing. You know, guys like Kyle Snyder, Joseph Diaz Jr., Deontay Wilder, Teofimo Lopez. We've all had that same story, of that one moment where they geeked out the Olympics because they're walking in a stadium. Oh, by the way, Joseph Diaz rubbing arm in arm with Kevin Durant, or you had Errol Spence, who remember telling me at the time, hey, I got to hang out with Serena Williams, or Kyle Snyder talking about meeting up with, Usain Bolt. All these things here. When do you expect to have that moment where the little kid comes out because it's like, oh my God, Dad, look, I'm with Kevin Durant, or oh my God, look at this here. I'm with, Jason Tatum. Like, when do you expect to have that where you forget being the athlete for that one moment and you go, oh my God, with all these professional athletes and people I looked up to, and I am now having lunch with them in the Olympic Stadium. This is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think the moment that's gonna happen is at the opening ceremony, honestly, because that's when, if we're still allowed to do that, that's when everything's gonna go down. I'm gonna be able to see everybody, and that's when I'm probably gonna geek out. I want to meet everybody. I want to take a picture with Katie Ledecky. Honestly, like, I saw her in the last Olympics, and like the record she broke, that's amazing. And one of the things that happened was I've lived at the Olympic Training Center for about the past 4 years before it was shut down because of COVID. And I got to see guys on like the Brooklyn Nets. I got to see guys like Zion Williams. I got to see Katie Ledecky and a couple big names. And you just kind of sit there and like, whoa, that's crazy. It's like, I saw you on TV when I was like 10, but yeah, the opening ceremony is definitely, that's when I'm going to geek out.
It all comes down to, as you said, it starts in July. And we talked about with you, Justin Huni's out. It's still, though, a lot of guys who are pretty damn good. You're talking about, the two guys coming back, the guy, from Kazakhstan, 6'9". You have Yalov, who is 6'7". These aren't, the old heavyweights who are 6'1" through 6'3". All these guys are huge. They have jabs. I mean, how much you look at this division and go, okay, I got to be on my A game to get this gold medal, because all these guys are big, they're athletic, and they are actually talented. This is a very damn good super, heavyweight division.
No, definitely, yeah. I do think I have to be on my A game, and I mean, I feel like I've been on my A game for most tournaments. And so I just have to, like my coach said, perform, just go out there and try to do my thing. Yeah, the guys are a lot bigger. The average super heavyweight now is, I think, like 6'5", 6'6", 250 pounds. And I'm walking in about 6'1", 225. So there is a discrepancy. But what I like to say I lack for in size, I make up for in speed. And, I got a good pop to my punch too. So, I'm ready. I've seen these guys over the years. I've studied them. I've studied them. I am studying them still, and I'm going there with all the preparation necessary to take that gold.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are proud to have on the show. I'll give you none other than Team USA super heavyweight contender, a man who a lot of people say is USA's best bet to win a gold medal. I give you from Tulare, California, and Tulare Athletic Boxing Club. I give you Richard Torrez Jr. Richard, before I let you go, where can fans check you out at? Where is the Twitter page, the Instagram, the website? Like, where can fans hit you up at?
Yeah, my main social media is Instagram, and you can reach me at the Richard Torrez. That's THEE Richard Torrez. I just got verified. I was really happy about that. So yeah, go check out that blue check.
Richard Torrez, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we are proud to have him on the show. We come back. Got a lot more going on here. Once again, only on It Is Last Call. Last Call with the alcohol, only on the Blue Wire Hustle YouTube channel.